When I was doing the book Lassie: A Dog's Life, which was the story of Lassie, I had to get into the Weatherwax family that trained Lassie. Rudd Weatherwax was Lassie's main trainer for generations. And Rudd had been training dogs in Hollywood for years. Well, Rudd had a great Bogart story. He and Bogart and John Wayne and Roy Rogers were playing poker. And Rudd thought he had a really good hand, but he was out of chips. And so he bet Lassie on the hand, and John Wayne won.
Oh, goodness.
Now, John Wayne did not take the dog, obviously. But it was one of the great stories because you could see these three actors sitting there and watching Rudd's face as he lost the dog.
Yeah.
The dog was his livelihood. At that time, MGM was making a series of Lassie movies. This was Rudd's answer to fame right here. And John Wayne, for the rest of his life, would occasionally call Rudd Weatherwax and said, "Rudd, how's my dog doing?" And so, that's one of those great inside stories. But it also shows, I think, to a certain degree, how small a community Hollywood was.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how Hollywood really was a little town where people got together and did things together that the public didn't know about, and that you had friendships within these group of people.
Yeah.
It's like Hedy Lamarr, one of the iconic film beauties, if you will. Hedy Lamarr was also an inventor, and she and her husband were working on an invention in World War II that was kind of a skip communication kind of invention, and it was to detect incoming torpedoes to prevent ships being blown up.
Oh, wow. That's phenomenal.
And they developed it, but it ultimately was used for what? To develop the wireless internet. All these years later, it was for wireless communication like cell phone and other things. This is what it was ultimately used.
Mm-hmm.
And yet they were the ones, she was a part of developing that. And so there were some interesting characters in Hollywood. And that, I think, is another reason to go back and study the old films, to realize that these people had lives outside of their work. They had interest outside of their work. Edward G. Robinson, who often played kind of a dumb thug, spoke 6 different languages. The Metropolitan Museum of Art would call him in because he was such an art expert before they bought paintings.
Wow.
These people were people who often played dynamically opposite of who they were in real life, which shows you how good the acting was.